This episode of the Archery Roundtable is brought to you by Barn Burner Custom Strings. Champions find a way. Also brought to you by B3 Archery. Built the best, by the best, for the best. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to another episode of the Archery Roundtable. We are your host. I'm Rusty Miller, and that's Matt Jacobs.
What's up, guys?
How's it going, man?
Pretty good, you?
I'm excited to be here for another episode. Going to talk Vegas. It happened last night. What did you think?
I was pretty exciting. I was really excited to see Brady Ellison shoot the first 900 in recurve history. That's crazy. I know a lot of people shoot indoors and shoot the Vegas target like we have here on the table. To keep 90 arrows inside that 10 ring is ridiculous. There are people that shoot all their lives and can't do that. It is amazing to see.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So let's go through some winners real quick for people that may not know or may be interested in hearing our take on it.
So I watched the some of the shoot off last night. We had Kyle Douglas, first time winner, awesome shoot off. Broadwater in second, Jesse Broadwater. Chris Perkins in third. Paige Pierce won the women's class, and then I believe it went Lopez and then Anderson, Steve Anderson's wife, Linda Ochoa Anderson, in the women's pro. What was really cool is I had some buddies on the shoot-off line, Richard Bowen and Jesse Starks. I was really pulling for them, hoping they would win, but unfortunately the pressure got to them, or they just made a bad shot and it just didn't happen. But it's really cool to see how good those guys can put them in the middle. Perkins, after Douglas won, I don't think Perkins missed till the very last end, and it was ridiculous. I mean, it's amazing.
So I don't shoot a lot of indoor at all. So is Vegas the most pressure of any event?
Yeah, I think Vegas, I've never shot Vegas. I've shot Vegas rounds in tournaments and stuff, but everybody says Vegas is the Super Bowl of archery. It's where
there's extra lights and
it's everything. Money. I mean, I don't know what the total win was, but I know he won $54,000 from the NFAA or whoever it was. He won $5,000 from True Ball, whatever PSE paid him, whatever his other contracts paid him. You know, you're talking almost 75, 80, who knows, $100,000. And you know, a lot of people get nervous shooting their bow for just a score. So could you imagine shooting it for $100,000?
Yeah.
Could you?
I could imagine how nervous that would
be. It would be pretty nerve-wracking.
I don't know if I could hit paper. I could hit paper.
Well, somebody's. Might not be yours.
Right. I'm sure that happens, right? People shoot the wrong target.
I've heard of people doing it, you know, mostly on state tournaments and stuff like that. But usually once you get up there, it's...
I've been the local one here one time, and I shot the wrong target.
Did you really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, you know, the top and bottom, and I used to only shoot in the top, and we rotated.
You rotated.
And I still shot the top, so...
There it goes.
I'll blame that on my bad finish. So that zero there sucked, but...
It happens.
Right.
Everybody's done it, if you shoot long enough.
Yeah, so I wanted to get into talking about some ASA prep.
Okay.
Kind of what you have done in ASA, how long you've been out, because it's been a couple years since you went to an ASA.
Yep.
And then what you're kind of planning for this year,
okay,
what you're shooting. We'll get into that. We'll just kind of roll. So start telling me about how many ASAs you went to. Did you have any success?
So
kind of thing.
I've shot ASA for several years. Started out in, I think, Open B, judging yardage, 45 yards. Couldn't judge distance, saved my life. I'd go through 4 or 5 targets and I'm like, I got this. And then I would be 7 yards off on the next one. And you can't do that. That's usually a 5 or a 0. Then the Gnome 45 class came out and I competed in that, and I struggled for a couple years, and I couldn't figure out why. Because I was a decent indoor shooter. I'd put up decent scores, but I'd go to these tournaments and I'd struggle. I mean, I would shoot down in a known division, which for me was really frustrating. So then one year I kind of stepped back from it all and kind of took a look at what I was doing, and I realized I was putting too much pressure on myself.
That's kind of like Vegas, right?
Yeah, kind of a lot like Vegas in the known 45 class.
Yeah.
So what I did is I just practiced And I went to the shoots, and I just said, whatever happens, happens. Doesn't matter. I'm not gonna take your birthday away. You just shoot.
That's what you told me when I went. My one and only time.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
super nervous, and you kept saying, "They can't take your
No,
birthday
they
away."
can't. And that's something I've learned over time is you have to realize that when you shoot that bow, the arrow's gone. There's nothing you can do about it. There's no point of being nervous. Yes, you get the butterflies for starting, and you get nervous when you got a good score going, but you've got to learn to take that mentality of, I'm just shooting a bow. It's just an arrow. My life will move on regardless if I win, lose, or don't make the finish.
Hold on, real quick. I want to go on the sidebar.
Okay.
Does that mentality transfer over from your golf game? Because I know you play a lot of golf, and you're a decent golfer, but you know that scorecard flies up in your face when you got a shot to shoot, 70 or 69 or something like that. Does the history in ASA or the history in golf help in the other? Does it translate there?
So I think it does. The bigger difference with golf for me is I'm a driving range pro. I can go out on a driving range and hit any shot you want me to, and all day long, it's no problem. Get out on the course for a score, your mind changes because it's actually for something now. So with that question is, I think the ASA has helped my golf game, because before I would just play golf recreationally for fun. Now I play it competitively, and I've taken the same mindset with the ASA, and I just play golf, and if it's a good score, it's a good score. If it's not, it's not. But I feel more pressure on a golf course than I would at any ASA for some reason. It doesn't matter, because I'm not playing like super high-end competitive golf. It's a little amateur stuff, and for some reason that puts more pressure on me than an ASA event ever would.
Okay, so let's go back, get back into ASA. Let's kind of wrap up your history in it, and I know you've had some success after you struggled. So go into that. What years and kind of what you were shooting and things like that.
So 2013, I went into it with a whole different mind game. Is I'm just going to shoot all of them, and I'm going to do the best I can. And if I finish last, I finish last. If I finish first, I finish first. Did decent at the first tournament, nothing special. Second tournament was okay. I think I made a check, nothing major. I think I made $100 or something. Then we went to Paris. Paris was my glory. I've always said if I want to win one tournament, it's Paris, Texas, because they give away the most beautiful belt buckles. Shot 12 up on the first day, which was middle of the pack, nothing special. Got to shoot with a friend, Zach Parker, so that helped kind of calm some nerves a little bit. But second day, it just went my way. Nothing went wrong. I ended up shooting 14 12s out of 20, no 8s, 28 up, for a total of 40 up. But I knew it was my day when we had like 6 targets left, 45-yard hyena. The upper 12 was jam-packed. And I'm shooting, at this point I've got 12, 13, 12, so I'm thinking let's just play safe. So I just say I'm gonna shoot the lower, add 1.5 yards to it, and pin right at the connector, 11, 12 connectors. Gotta be safe. So I make a perfect shot, and I hear it crash into arrows. I'm like, oh no. Sure, I'm assuming kick to a 5. It kicked in the back of somebody's arrow and kicked straight into the low 12. So I miss that 12, I don't win. Because there was another guy who was 38 up, but he had one more 12 than me. So he would have won on that one. So, but won Paris, loved it, awesome.
So you have your belt buckle?
Yeah, it's back in my office, sitting up there. I'll never put it on. Everybody say, you know, where are you going to wear it? No, I'm not going to wear that. I'm just
Get yourself a nice pair of Lou Casey boots and wear that.
No, I'll never wear it. So then I finished out the year, did well. I think I finished 6th shooter of the year. But that's kind of where I think I lost my passion for ASA, because my goal was to win Paris, Texas. So I won Paris, Texas, and then the drive kind of went away. And then I shot for another couple years here and there, nothing like that. And then did have some shoulder injury related to golf, archery, I don't know. So I stopped shooting archery for about 2 years. Last time I shot was, I think, 2018, January 2018. And then just picked it up, 3 weeks ago?
Yeah. So you are going to all the ASAs this year.
Yeah, so we've committed to all the ASAs. Barn Burner, my company, we're gonna do a booth at all of them.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be there. So I thought, well, I might as well
Might as well
shoot.
just be
I might as well shoot while I'm there, just in
Right.
case something.
And what class are you shooting this year?
I'm gonna go back to K45. I shot a little known 50 in the past and did okay, but I haven't touched the bow in 2 years, and you can tell.
Yeah.
You can tell.
Okay. So you want to get into what you're shooting?
Yeah, sure. So this year I'm going to be shooting a Matthews TRX 38. That's what I shot that's the last bow I shot, and I loved it. So I acquired one of those through a good friend. Going to be shooting the B3 sight, shrewd scope, doinker stabilizers, gold tip arrows, Scott release, just a little bit of everything. So I'm kind of a smorgasbord of stuff, because I sold all my stuff because I didn't think I was going to be shooting anymore or in any time recent. So I didn't want to just sit in there. So I sold it all. So now I'm kind of
Piecing it back together.
piecing it all back together. You know.
Cool. And you're just shooting for Barn Burner, right? Nobody else?
Gold tip.
Gold
Yeah,
tip.
yeah, I love gold tip arrows. So
Cool. All right. So since you've been off and you really haven't been shooting in almost 2 years, you picked it up about 3 weeks ago. Foley's in 3 weeks, 2 weeks.
yeah, the 20th, I think I leave.
Yeah. So about 2 weeks from when we're sitting here, what's your day-to-day practice like? How many rounds are you shooting? How many targets are you shooting? Are you shooting paper at all?
So practice in the morning is really when it happens. I try to do it in the evening sometimes, but I'll usually come into the shop and I'll shoot anywhere between 10 and 40 arrows, depending on how I feel, how the bow's holding. I shoot a little bit of paper, but I do a lot of blank bailing because I just need to get my strength up and my shot back. And I know that if I can get my strength up by Foley, I'll be okay. You know, I don't expect some giant score, but I know I'll be okay.
Do you want to know some help? I'll give you a tip.
Let's hear it.
Okay. You don't need strength. All you do is pull it up and hammer that trigger as soon as it gets there. You don't hold, okay? You just, when it gets in the middle, you just hammer that trigger.
Just as hard as you can.
As hard as you can. And that way you don't have to hold it long and your strength doesn't have to be there.
That makes sense.
That's how I
Yeah, I've seen you shoot. I knew exactly where that was going.
Hey, it works for others.
Hey, Gillingham, he's a puncher. Command shooter is what they call him.
The best.
But so I practice in the mornings, not near as much as I should, but
Sure.
I try to shoot a little bit of paper just to make sure I'm hitting behind the pin, and then I'll literally, like this morning, I came in here and I shot I think 12 arrows at a target, and then I shot 24 arrows at a blank bail, just trying to get my shot, my rhythm, making sure my draw length's right, and that kind of stuff.
Okay. So, what expectation do you have for this year, or Foley, or anything?
Anything. So Foley, I'd like to finish in the top half of the field. That'd be good for me, I think. Coming back after 2 years off, not really practicing and knowing this was going to happen. The year, I'd like to finish with a couple top tens. I feel like that'd be a good expectation, a good goal for me, and then see where it goes from there.
Perfect. Would like to take this a little bit further in the comments below, if our YouTube page allows us to have comments.
Yeah.
If not, on a Facebook, kind of want you guys to chime in and let us know what kind of questions you have for somebody that's been off for as long as Matt has and is getting back into it, because that's our goal of the podcast, is to get people that aren't shooting to get out and either start shooting some ASAs or some targets, or even just shooting in the backyard and practicing for a hunting season.
Yeah.
So
I will say that I was reluctant to do this, but since I've been back, it's been a lot of fun. Now we'll see once the pen goes to the paper and we gotta start scoring, but it's been a lot of fun. So hopefully someone can hear the story, you know, maybe get back into it or take it to the next level or something like that.
perfect. You got anything else you want to talk about today?
Not unless you're an IU basketball fan.
I mean, it was great,
That was
but it was great to have Coach Knight back.
the most amazing thing you'll see in college basketball. I think.
It's extremely frustrating that the turd of the team that we have this year ruined that and lost that game to Purdue. But I don't think anybody out there cares about our takes on IU basketball.
They might, I don't know. I'm just such a fan that I'm still butthurt about it, and probably will be for the next.
So it's interesting though, because I was actually at IU the year he got fired. I was taking his class the year he got fired. I was at Dunn Meadow when he gave his goodbye speech.
Oh, really?
So that whole, and then was obviously there a year and a half later when we went to the national championship game.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a lot of passion and a lot of ties to, I think, that whole era of basketball.
Sure.
Plus growing up in Southern Indiana, dying hard IU fan, to see all those guys that I watched back on the court on Saturday was pretty special. Not gonna lie, I'm glad nobody was around when I was watching it. So
you shed a tear?
Oh, a lot.
I don't think there was a dry eye.
I was crying like a baby. So
there's no way that if you are involved and invested into IU basketball that you didn't.
Right.
That's the way it was.
So like I said, it was a great day, but it was frustrating that this team couldn't close the deal or play any defense, which is ironic that that's what he was chanting when he was out there, was that he knew we needed to play defense and we couldn't do it. So, and we don't have any shooters, and
it's a whole plethora of problems.
Yeah. So, all right. On our next episode, we will have a special guest.
Very special.
So not going to ruin who that is, but you guys will have to stick around and come back. We're going to talk more ASA coming up on that podcast, and then we'll probably recap Foley at some point, and we're going to transition into some hunting stuff as well in the next week or two. Don't want this all to be ASA and paper, so we're going to transition some into hunting there.
We got what? You're shed hunting now.
I am. I went out with Hannah. She took her shed hunting for the first time yesterday.
What'd you find?
Nothing.
Nothing.
No, and it was colder than I think she expected it to be. So we weren't.
You weren't out there as long as you wanted to be.
Yeah, we walked kind of a finger in a bean field, and then I have a cell camera out that the batteries are going dead on. So I went out and replaced those batteries so we could try to get that, but. I wanted to walk a couple more blocks of timber, and
she said no.
She said her toes are cold and gonna fall off. So,
have you set up a shed trap yet?
No, I don't do that. I don't know. I just don't know that that's the way I want to do it. So
fair enough. We can talk about it another time.
Just put on some boots on the ground and some miles and pick them up like they're supposed to be.
Fair enough.
There's some, I don't know. I'm sure that they're great and they work and no deer ever get their head cut and stuck in there and die, but that's just not something that I want to have responsibility for. So we'll get into how I do it and what I do, but yeah, that's what we're gonna do in the future. Anything else?
Not that I can think of. Nothing. No.
Perfect. Producer Jay, you got anything?
Maybe we should.
No.
No, I didn't think so.
He's never on camera.
No, that's why he's over there.
Yeah, he's got a face for the
radio.
Yeah. All right. So thank you again for showing up and watching our episode of the Archery Roundtable. More to come. Please share. We are growing. This is our second episode. I was extremely impressed with the feedback and the views that we actually got on our first intro.
Yeah,
we didn't have any.
I was a little surprised.
Yeah, so I'm excited, and I think we were gauged right that there is a market for a podcast like this, and
I think so.
And I'm excited to bring that to them.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it wasn't you just clicking view.
No. My wife didn't even watch it, so we're not getting cheap views like that either.
Oh, my wife watched it and critiqued every aspect of it. So
not me, just you. So, all right. Until next time, I'm Rusty, and that's Matt, and this was the Archery Roundtable.